Welcome to another question and answer time with Nashville Early Bronco. I've enjoyed doing these videos. They're actually, well, super easy to do, and it's kind of fun just talking to you guys about different stuff, seeing what's interesting to you, seeing what you care about. I don't have a lot of work, video work in November. That's not true. I do have a good amount, but I have less than normal video work in November. So that's why I've been spending time in the garage, making question and answer videos. And just, if you're ever curious, I don't make money from Bronco stuff. Like my YouTube, you know, it is a nice little bonus because I do make a couple $100s a month, but definitely not enough to feed a family of 3 kids. But it's one of those things that I just love to do. So it's a labor of love, and enjoy actually talking to you guys and enjoy interacting with you guys. And I'm sorry that I don't always have the time, but been working on the 74. Got the disc brakes up front and in the back done. Going to run the brake lines hopefully this weekend. And I'm actually going to put the old motor in place and get that mocked up so that I can actually run the fuel lines as well. I'm going with steel braided lines, so I'm going to make AN fittings and do all that kind of stuff. And drop the fuel tank on there, get that all mocked up. So yeah, should be fun this weekend. That's the plan, and everyone knows that whatever you plan, you'll do like a fifth of what you plan. So I'll probably just get the brake lines done, and then that'll be good enough. But it'll be fun. Looking forward to it this weekend on the fuel tank. Oh wait, before I go on. So I don't know what the deal is. I live in Tennessee, obviously, Nashville, and it's November, and I guess it's the weather changing, but the spiders in my garage have been next level, to the extent that I've almost just burned my house down a couple times, and I'm like, when I'm in here now, I am so just on edge. So I was sitting cross-legged the other day right over here, and sitting cross-legged, and out of my peripheral I see something through my legs, like that crawled on the ground through my legs, through the little hole with sitting cross-legged, and it was a big old wolf spider. And unfortunately the camera wasn't rolling. I'm hoping that I'll at least get one while the camera is rolling so you can see the absolute terror and fear that comes over me when I see a spider crawling next to me. I'm actually just getting used to it at this point, so it's not that bad. But I've probably killed about 20 spiders in the last couple weeks, which is, it's just terrible. So yeah, there you go. All right. PRSII88 says, when converting to EFI, can the auxiliary tank be used as well? This is a question that I've gotten a couple times, and there are, I don't think that it's a good idea to do it, period. I think the auxiliary tank is a bad idea, but I get why you would want to do it. You know, having a 23-gallon tank is what I put on my 75, and it hangs low. I don't like how it looks, but having the extra fuel, like 23 gallons, is amazing. So I get why that you want to do it. I had the auxiliary tank in there previously. I ended up pulling it out because you're always trying to remember, oh, how much do I have? Like, what's full, what's empty? What have I put, you know, where's the fuel? So you're always trying to keep up with it. So I don't recommend it. With EFI as well, you have to run with EFI, you have to run a return line, and you have a high pressure pump. So you're pumping, let's say 53 PSI to your throttle body, EFI, whatever you have. That is then, a lot of that is going back to your tank. It's not being used up. Why you have that much PSI is because you're pressurizing the fuel system so that you do use more pressure for sure with an EFI system, but you're not running 50 PSI through there, but it's when those injectors squirt, you're getting more PSI, it's a finer mist. But you're putting more in your return than obviously with a carburetor. So what happens then when you have an auxiliary tank is you have to go one of two ways. Either one, you're having to switch not only your pump, but your return, or two, you're figuring out a way to kind of run it. And so I'll talk about that. The first way, figuring out a way to switch your return line and your fuel line is just kind of a nightmare. People have done it. More power to you if you're going to do that. I feel like it's one of those, like, for the amount of work that you're going to do to get the return, switch your returns. And why I'm saying that is if you're pumping fuel out of your auxiliary tank to your throttle body, and your throttle body is sending that return back to the main tank, then you're draining your auxiliary tank and filling back up your auxiliary tank. Not a huge deal to run it that way, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to do it that way. So you would have to then switch, when you switch your pump to your primary or your auxiliary tank from your main tank, then you'd also have to switch your return from your auxiliary tank to your main tank. Also not a great solution way. So the way that I've seen that it works, that I think is the best way, would be having your auxiliary tank pump to your main tank. So when you've run your main tank empty or close to empty, then you turn on your auxiliary tank pump, and it pumps all the fuel out of your auxiliary tank into your main tank. And so that way, then you're kind of you're refilling your main tank a little bit with your auxiliary tank, and you can keep running. That's to me, the smartest way to do it. But again, 23-gallon tank would be the way to go. Hopefully that helped. All right, Paul B on YouTube says, I'm currently on the fence. I have a Tom's 2.5-inch lift with Bilstein shocks, but do I sway or not to sway? He's asking, should he add a sway bar? And with Tom's in particular, no, you don't have to. Tom's has stiffer springs, so your body roll is pretty minimal, especially on a 2.5-inch lift. That's what I have. Your body roll is pretty minimal with their progressive coils. So I personally don't think that you need a sway bar with the Tom's lift. Now, different vendors have, they don't all use the same coils, although a lot of them come from Nashville. But I would say that there are other vendors that you would need a sway bar. James Duff is one of them. If you put James Duff springs on there, they're a lot softer. I think the Toms ride really well and don't give a lot of body roll around corners and stuff like that. So I like that balance. But if you're wheeling a bunch, you might want to go with the James Duff springs coils. They're softer, better for flexing and stuff like that. So, but yeah, answer your question with Toms. No, you don't. Jason Dahlquist says, question, I'm running a Dakota Digital VHX gauge cluster, and when the accessory power is on, it's reading half a tank. When the power is on, or while I'm driving, it's reading 3/4 of a tank. Do you think the problem's in the ignition switch, ground, or sending unit itself? Keep up the great work. Love the vids. Thank you, Jason. My question to you would be, with your return line, we're just talking about return, what tank are you running, and where is your sending unit within level of your return? So sometimes if your return, this might not be the right answer, but like sometimes if you put your return coming into your fuel tank and it's hitting on the sending unit, it'll actually make it look a little lower than what it is, because that sending unit's constantly getting hit with return fuel and it's having trouble coming up. So it'll make it look like while your engine's running that you're a little bit lower. But that could just be an issue. It could be an issue with your return. I don't know the Dakota Digital stuff very well, so I don't know if it's a Dakota Digital thing. But what I would do is I would get a multimeter on your, like wherever it comes into the Dakota Digital, look at it in accessory, see what it's reading, power on, see if it's reading the same. And if it's reading the same, then you know it's your Dakota Digital that is having trouble with it. If it is reading different, then you know that it's your sending unit that is reading different. And so I would go measure your power going to your sending unit in accessory and your power going to your sending unit when your engine is running. Measure that, see what that reading is, and that would be the way to check it. Jason also says, I sold my Bronco 20 years ago and just bought it back. Of course, 5 times more than I paid for it, but that is pretty cool. Good job with that. Way to go. Also, I just got a power probe. Bought one of these. They're about $100. I'll put a link in the description where you can pick one up. But those are great. I am going to troubleshoot, which I actually would love if you guys have any help with this, any inspiration with this. My fuel pump relay keeps going out, but if I bought a couple of the relays themselves, and if I just swap it out, then it usually comes back on. So like if I drive for a while, shut my engine off, go into the grocery store, come back out, because I'm daily driving my 75 right now, and come back out, it won't fire up. So I'll grab a different relay cap, put it on, and usually the fuel pump will kick back on and it'll fire back up and it runs fine. It won't die while I'm driving. So I don't know what that is. So that's why I got the power probe to check that out. If you guys have any, not inspiration, if you have any insight into what that would be, definitely let me know. Fuel pump relay problems. Okay, last one. I'm not going to show this on screen because Garrett wrote a lot about this, but I'm going to read a big chunk of this. So my dad sold our early Bronco in 2010-ish for $5,000. Old, rusty, tired 74 Ranger with cancer everywhere. I came across the new buyer now selling it for $27,000. On Facebook, the photos are shown of the best spots of the Bronco or what's left. I really feel bad for any buyer that thinks they're getting what the post reads and shows is simply not the truth. I feel obligated to highlight this shady seller and uncover what he's really doing. Trying to scam a buyer. So we're going to end with this one. And again, like kind of asking you guys, what should be the response? Like, we all know Broncos. We know what they're worth. We know, but someone out there is gonna, so basically, if you didn't understand, Garrett's dad sold Bronco for $5,000. Probably a couple, wheels and tires were upgraded, and now they're selling it for $27,000. He actually did send me pictures. I'm not going to show them, but there is rust I mean, it's Swiss cheese. Like, this thing's not worth 27. It's worth 7. But like, the pictures only show the best parts of it. So the guy is trying to, you know, get more than what this thing is worth. And I always tell people, well, your Bronco is only worth what it needs to be worth to one person. Like, you're only trying to sell it to one person. So it doesn't matter what other people think. But with this one, it's like, man, there's like, it feels shady. Whether or not the person's trying to be shady or just trying to get the most money that he can, you know, only he knows that, whoever this person is. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should Garret, knowing how bad this Bronco is, start blowing up this guy's feed every time he posts it and saying that it's not worth the money, that he's seen it? Or do you let people make their own decisions and figure it out on their own? Comment below, let me know what you think. I'm not a big fan of people blowing up other people's posts because it gets out of hand so quick. Like, I just hate that stuff. I hate it when someone has posted their Bronco and, hey, you know, I want to sell this for $50,000, and like, you get all these comments of, you know, people like, oh, those are the ugliest wheels, you're not going to get that money, blah blah blah. So I don't know. That's a fine line. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, that's it for today. Wait, one more. Roland Fontaine out of Vermont. This is your swag bag coming your way. A couple stickers. Roland asked a question a couple weeks ago. I answered it on this, or a Q&A video. And I said, hey, if I answer your question, shoot me your address and I'll send you some stickers. So, Roland, you got 4 stickers coming your way. Throw them on your cooler, put them wherever you want. They're actually not for sale on the website right now just because I haven't put them up yet. But if I've answered your question, you want some stickers, shoot me your email address, NashvilleEarlyBronco@gmail.com. And I will, just like Roland, send you some stickers. Thank you guys for these videos. Thank you for your questions. I'm making the video. Hopefully this was helpful. We'll see you guys next time.